Hi, I'm Djura, the time traveler, and this is my lifestyle time travel blog. Today we have a Dance Mom pyramid ranking of the pyramids. Some of the pyramids that are on the list are tombs, others are temples, but the one thing that connects them is the shape. And now let's go to the ranking. On the bottom, the Pyramid of Gaius Cestius. This 37 meters high, beautiful pyramid was built during the 1st century BC in only 330 days. It was made of brick covered in concrete and then lined with marble slabs. And this pyramid was actually the tomb of Gaius Cestius. So, in the middle of this pyramid, in its interior, there is a vaulted burial chamber of Gaius Cestius. And the walls of this chamber are covered in beautiful, typical Roman frescoes. Originally, this pyramid was outside the city walls because Romans didn't have cemeteries inside the city. So, this was actually extramuros. But as the city grew, this pyramid was incorporated into the city walls in the 3rd century AD. That was actually the Aurelian city wall. Up until the 16th century, the city of Rome had two pyramids, this one and another one that was located between the Vatican and the Hadrian's Mausoleum, and it was called the Pyramid of Romulus. We don't know who actually it belonged to because in the 16th century it was dismantled so that marble could be used to line the stairs of the St. Peter's Basilica. But during the Middle Ages, the Pyramid of Gaius Cestius was known as the Remus Pyramid because they thought that these two pyramids actually were tombs of mythological creators of Rome. And now let's move on to the next pyramid. The Nubian Pyramids. These pyramids were built by the members of the Kushite royal family, and they ruled the territory of Nubia, which is today known as Sudan. Kushite kings started building these pyramids around the time when they ruled Egypt, which was during the 3rd Intermediate period. And the 25th Egyptian dynasty was known as the Nubian dynasty. The Nubian kings were really impressed by the pyramids they saw in Egypt, but by that time the Egyptian rulers stopped with this practice, with the practice of using pyramids as tombs. These pyramids were built over the course of few centuries and they were made from granite and sandstone. They differed from the Egyptian ones because they were tall and narrow and they were 6 to 30 meters high. The biggest number of pyramids is located in Meroe and most of them have offering temples. Next, the Temple of Kukulcan. This temple at Chichen Itza was built by Mayas of Yucatan between 8th and 12th century AD. This is a step pyramid with a temple at the top. It has 4 staircases on each side of this pyramid, and at the bottom of the steps, at the northern side, there are heads of serpents. And serpents are here because this temple was actually dedicated to Kukulcan, the feathered serpent deity. And on the spring and fall equinox, an interesting illusion happens. A shadow that is casted on the steps creates this illusion of a serpent going down this pyramid because those heads are actually the head of this snake. This pyramid is 24 meters high with additional 6 meters of temple on top of it. This pyramid was built on top of cenote, or a sinkhole filled with water. At the temple at the top of the pyramid there are different rooms. Some were for offerings and other rooms for sacrifices because some human remains were found in one of these rooms. And now we're going to our next pyramid, which is the Pyramid of Khafre. This is the second largest ancient pyramid and it is located in Giza in Egypt. It was a tomb of Pharaoh Khafre, which was the ruler of the 4th dynasty. This pyramid is 136 2.4 meters high, and it was made from limestone. Actually, limestone blocks, which were about 2 tons each. On the bottom of the pyramid, those blocks were larger, but in the upper parts they were smaller. Pyramid was robbed during the first intermediate period, so we don't know what was actually in it. The only thing that remains is the granite sarcophagus of the king. And you can find this sarcophagus in the burial chamber. There are actually 2 paths leading to this burial chamber. The entrance to one path is on top of the pyramid, 11 meters high on the front of this pyramid. And the other one is at the base of the pyramid. And those galleries and pathways and chambers are beneath the pyramid. And in this temple, a statue of Khafre was found, which is now in the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. And the Sphinx might have been a part of this Vally Temple. And now our runner-up is the Pyramid of the Sun. This pyramid is located in Teotihuacan in Mexico, and the members of Teotihuacan culture were actually specialized in obsidian exploitation and trade. So this is the reason why they were wealthy. And the city of Teotihuacan was the biggest city in the pre-Columbian America. This city had impressive buildings, both temples and residential buildings, because their residential buildings had multiple floors. The city was founded in 100 BC and it was abandoned around 550 AD, probably due to the worst year in human existence, which was the winter of 535-36 AD. I think that we should dedicate one video to this year because a lot of things happened, and not good things. And now let's go back to the pyramid itself. It is the 3rd largest pyramid in the world. It was built around 200 AD. It is located on the Avenue of the Dead between the Pyramid of the Moon and Ciudadela. This pyramid is 75 meters high and it probably had an altar at the top, which is not actually preserved. And we don't know who it was dedicated to, because the Aztecs, which came and saw the ruin of this pyramid, were the ones to give her the name. The pyramid was covered in lime plaster and after that it was painted. The paintings did not survive, but they probably depicted heads and paws of leopards, stars and snake rattles. At the corners of this pyramid, children's burial were found, so maybe they were sacrificed. And now on top of the pyramid, going 3 for 3, is the Pyramid of Djoser. This step pyramid is the oldest pyramid in the world, and it was built as a tomb for the pharaoh Djoser. This ruler of the 3rd dynasty had a vision, and Imhotep, his counselor, was the one who realized it. In the beginning, this limestone structure didn't look like this. At first, it was mastaba. And to come from mastaba to this, it took 6 steps. The mastaba was remodeled several times and then a smaller pyramid was built. And then they weren't satisfied with the outcome, so they made a bigger one. In the end, we ended up with this 62.5 meters high pyramid. And during the antiquity, it was lined with polished limestone. The burial chambers of Djoser were located beneath the pyramid. And not only his burial chamber was beneath the ground, there were also galleries, chambers for family members, chambers for offerings and for storage. And the passages in this pyramid were inlaid with blue faience. There was also a representation of Djoser during Habsat festival. And around this pyramid there is a beautiful mortuary complex. It consists of enclosure walls, colonnaded entrance, temples, courtyards, pavilions, and everything was made from limestone. And there is also Serdab, a compartment with the pharaoh's Ka statue with holes on the side through which the pharaoh's soul could move freely. This was my choice and you can write yours in the comments. Thank you for watching this video and you know what to do. Like, subscribe, share, send to all, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!